Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm going to show you today how you can trellis your zucchini plants. I try to go vertical on everything that I do. I'm going to give you some quick tips on how to do that today in your garden. You're in the garden with Patrick. So I just wanted to give you a quick overview first of how I do vertical gardening. This is probably one of the best ways that you can garden in a small space. These are my zucchini plants here, and I have two different varieties, and you can see here I got one that's about ready to be picked. Picked that one today, but I also want to show you my spaghetti squash that I am growing vertically. So you can see really you can use anything that you want to trellis and use for the things to climb up on. This is my cucumber. I have two varieties of cucumber. My Armenian cucumber is doing really well. No cucumbers yet, but they're coming along. And then I also have my straight 8 that is coming along. But again, you can see generally this is all you're going to do is you're going to have them climb up whatever they can find. And then I have just a trellis system that I just kind of concocted, and it's a nice little wire that I have connected to my neighbor's yard. He approved that, just so you know. And again, we have this just kind of coming up on a string or a wire or whatever you have. You can take that, and you can see here we got some zucchini, I'm sorry, the spaghetti squash coming in. And so that allows the pollinators to see and identify these flowers. Now, what I'm going to show you today is specifically how to do your zucchini plant. So I have two here. One is a different variety. This is the calabacitas that are like a Mexican squash that we call it here. But you can see here the vine is growing pretty nicely. So it's coming from there and growing all the way to the tip here. Okay, this one is a little still out of control. I'm going to show you how you can prune this, and then we're going to trellis this one up this stake. So the first thing is you're going to see how some of these leaves are different. These are fairly healthy, okay? These are nice, but you see how the edges here, they're starting to dry up, and they're looking a little yucky, a little gray and yellow. And so this is very common, very normal. This is one of the questions I get often is, what's going on with my zucchini plant? Is this normal? Is this okay? Yes, it is. Okay, so as you get to the older portion of your vine here or your plant, it's very normal for these to start dying off. You also want to cut these off anyway, because if anything is touching the ground, it could also get some disease. So what first thing you're going to do is take your shears, and you want to make sure that you do desanitize them, okay, so with some alcohol. That way you're not cutting anything, transplanting something from one plant to another. So all we're just going to do here is we're just going to cut our lower leaves off. We'll take all these little flowers off also. That's part of the, just to kind of clean it up a little bit, okay. All right, now we're going to take a couple more off, and that's going to be for now. I'm going to take this one off too, because it's a kind of a dried up one. Okay, now if you see here, you can see how this, if I lift this up, this is going to grow up vertically, and this is the vine here is all the way up this area, and it's going to continue to grow from this portion here. So I'm going to cut this zucchini off right now. That way we can have that for dinner tonight. That's a nice zucchini. This is a Mexican gray zucchini. Great variety if you want to try that. So what we're going to do, let me do this first. I'm going to cut some of these leaves here so we can see this a little bit better when we go ahead and trellis this up. So let me show you real quickly how we do this zucchini over here. We're gonna trim it and make it a little bit nicer here. So don't be afraid to prune these zucchini plants. And one reason is in this forest of leaves, there are beautiful flowers, and you can see the males here, and you can also see, let's see if there's any females in here at the moment. Right now, no, there's a couple here that are developing, but when these flowers open, if the pollinators can't see them, they're not going to go in here and really look for it. They want to see these flowers open. So that's another reason, a great reason why you want to prune your zucchini plants, and a lot of your plants anyway that are vining like this. So same thing here on our spaghetti squash. Okay, so we're just going to take a few. I've already sanitized these again because I'm going from one plant to another plant. So we're just going to go ahead and pull a couple of these off. And I'm pulling these off for two reasons. Number one is so I can show you guys how we're going to trellis this, because this is the end here. So you can see here, this is where it's growing. So I don't want to do too much of that, but we're going to trellis this one up also, okay? But I'm pulling this out a little bit so you can see for when we are going to take our other one and trellis this one. So I'm just going to pull these off so you can see. You have a front row seat. All right, so that should be good for now. I'm going to move this out of the way a little bit, but I'm going to pull one more. Okay, so that gives you a good eyesight of this zucchini here, how we're going to take that and trellis this up here, okay? So it's going to be very simple what we're going to do here. We're just going to take our vine that you have here. Don't be afraid to pull your vine up, okay? And we're just going to take that straight up this way, and that's how we're going to grow it vertically, okay? So you're going to just take some twine, some string, whatever you have, and you're just going to tie this, nothing fancy. Tie a nice knot here. And all that just does now is it's going to start growing vertically. So as this grows up this way, I'm going to continue to take my twine and I'm going to tie that right through here. And as it continues to grow upward, we're just going to continue to tie that straight up there. Now, I have also some vertically grown zucchini in the community garden that I have, and show you those. Look at the way that the vines are. They're nice and strong. They're very large, and so what I'm doing is I'm growing those vertically, and again tying those up, and you can see here how it goes straight up the stake, and as it grows it will continue to go straight. So here it is growing up our stake, and as you can see it's kind of twisted and turned a little bit this way because that's how it was sitting. But again, as this grows, this will continue to grow straight up. Now you see here, we got a nice flower that's exposed. This is the female, and this is the male flower. So how do you know? This is another one of those questions that people ask me all the time. What is the difference between the male and the female? The male has just a small stem and a flower here. The female has the fruit. So when you see this and this, those two are the female. And you can see here, the male is just a long stem. So that's the difference between the females and the males. You want to make sure that those females, once those flowers open, that they are pollinated. So I'll put a link in a video that I did on how to pollinate your zucchini. You're hand pollinating, right? So a lot of times if you don't have pollinators in your garden, then you're going to get these nice beautiful zucchinis that don't pollinate, and they're just going to fall off, and they kind of look like this, if you can see that, the way they die off if they're not pollinated. All right, so I was going to show you guys how to trellis this next zucchini plant, but this is interesting because it's actually got 3 different stems that are coming out. It's really gotten 3 main vines out of the main stem. So you can see here, this is where it starts. This is one large one, okay, and it's coming out, and this is where it's growing. You can see here, this is the tip of it, and this is where it's going to be growing. And then I have a second, and actually I have even a 4th one. So this one is growing upward. This one from that main stem is growing this way. So I have that growing. And then there's another one back here that's growing. So I'm going to let this just kind of do its thing. But you can see how I have already pretty much pruned that pretty well. So as this gets a little bit longer and larger, we're going to stake this also. So I'll probably have 2 different stakes, one here and one here, that are going to grow up vertically. But it's not ready to do that yet. I don't want to stress the plant too much by doing that. Again, you can see here. So you see, again, this leaf here is on the ground. So we're gonna make sure we prune that off also. But as you are getting this growth, you just want to let it do its thing, and eventually you'll be getting a lot more of these beautiful zucchinis coming. So don't be afraid to prune your zucchini plants, whether you're growing them vertically like I do, or if you're just going to let them kind of grow, just let them grow. But make sure that you do take some of those leaves off to allow those pollinators to come in. And this is a great view of the females. Can you tell me which ones the females are and which ones are the males? So hope you learned something today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and those notification bells every time I do a video. And you can do some vertical gardening like I do. And if you're curious on what this mesh is behind me, I'll put a link in the description box below. We have over 100-degree temperatures here right now in El Paso, zone 8B. There's various ways that you can shade your plants. And so this is one thing that you can do that can help your plants cut the heat so that they'll survive. Thanks for watching. Until next time, happy gardening.